Hey, what's up, everyone? I just wanted to give a recap as to how I traded PayPal today. Here is a screenshot of my PayPal fills and exits. Okay, and to get started, let's take a look as to why PayPal was a wash for me, right? So, in the session, you could basically tell that we were pretty bearish today. So, we were unable to tag yesterday's high on the cues. And instead, once we opened, we basically rallied directly to the downside. So, price action was pretty bearish, right? So, let's take a look at PayPal now, right? PayPal was somewhat showing some relative strength because it was holding in this area. But because the IB range, so the initial bounce high and the initial bounce low, which is the first hour's high and low, was very tight, I just saw an opportunity to just take a potential short, just risking the IB high while targeting the IB low, which is the first hour's low, and the Friday's low, right? So my entry essentially was about right here. So once we broke below this 5-minute candle's low, I entered risking above the first hour's high, trying to target the Friday's low essentially. That was like that was the best like risk approach or the best approach that I really saw in terms of how simple the risk was for this trade. One thing I want to note too is that if you take a look on the broader picture of things, we are in a downtrend, right? So you can see that relatively we are trending to the downside, right? We are catching somewhat of a dead cat bounce because we have oversold to the downside. But essentially, yesterday showed a doji day. So the doji was kind of the signal where it's like we're slowing down and there's not much buyers or sellers. And today we were trading inside yesterday's range. So essentially, when trading inside yesterday's range, my first targets, of course, like, pre-market low or yesterday's low. So in this case, it was yesterday's low. So if I use my Fibus extension and I want to like calculate the R to R, let's say I entered below this candle break right here. So candle break right here, right? My risk is IB high. I have over a 2.5 R target to just Friday's low, right? So the 300% level is basically a 1 to 2 risk to reward. So reward is 2 in this case. And then this is 1 to 3, basically at the 400 point, right? And you can see clearly this trade ended up extending out to like a 1 to 5 R to R as I was able to take off targets here. And I ended up filling the rest of my contracts out like on the small pop here because I didn't really know if we're going to hold any lower. And I'm not going to lie, I did kind of get a little lucky on this trade where I think the setup was there anyways, essentially. But I saw some news come across the headline saying that essentially PayPal shareholders lost money, have opportunity to lead securities fraud lawsuits. So they definitely have some like catalyst going on as to why the why the stock ended up like plummeting really hard because this isn't a normal candle, right? Sometimes I guess you could see that, but majority of the times when you see something like this happen, right, there's definitely some catalyst behind it. So I guess that just comes to the risk to reward. Of course, like some positive news could have hit and I would have got stopped out up here. But I was fortunate enough to catch the downside move, sitting in a short position and banking onto the downside. So yeah, relatively simple TA. Also, one thing I want to note is that we did break the daily candles low from the prior day. So prior day's lows tag, literally retested it and faded from there. But I didn't want to hold my puts any longer. I just wanted to take the premium pump that was provided to me. And yeah, that was the trade for the day. That was the best trade I took today. Definitely a banger of the week, honestly. Very, very simple setup. Risk to reward was defined. What's my trend, right? Overall trend is to the downside. What's the intraday trend, right? Intraday trend is pretty bearish as we were creating lower highs here, right? Lower highs, and we were holding below the opening print area. So holding below the opening print, green line right here, as I talk about almost in every video nowadays. So holding below opening print, created a lower high up here, entered on the break below this candle, popped up, unable to even get back over the opening print, right? And just boom, just straight faded. So yep, that was the trade of the day today. I hope to catch you guys next time. And yeah, trade safe.